So why was America indirectly involved in the defeat of Germany in the first place? Well, remember World War I? America actually felt that it should not be involved in a European war. And that was the reason why the general population, the general opinion of American people back then was not to be involved in another European war. And hence the Neutrality Acts, which was signed by the US government not to be involved in any more European war or affairs in Europe. So the idea was to basically support Britain, America's ally, to defeat Germany by giving Britain weapons, food, and all kinds of supplies. So Britain was fighting the war against Germany. And in that way, America did not have to send its sons, its fathers, its men, basically, to fight Germany in another European war. However, there was a change in policy. It became a direct involvement as a result of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, where American lives were lost due to Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and this basically brought American full entry into World War II with 100% commitment to defeat both Japan and Germany, and that's the reason why America changed from indirect to direct involvement. Now, we will look at the direct involvement of America in defeating Germany. So the first one you can see is America's contribution of vast resources, okay, and also large numbers of manpower. So who are they? Soldiers, sailors, airmen, pilots, and what have you. And all these things are now directly involved. So this is what I would say 100% commitment, okay? Compared to an indirect involvement, it was not 100%. It was not a full commitment. It was not a full involvement. But here we have 100% involvement, commitment by the US to totally want to defeat Germany as a goal. And what more, by providing your own soldiers, meaning someone's father, someone's uncle, someone's brother actually went to fight the war and could even possibly die. So by providing soldiers, I think you are showing 100,000% commitment that you really want to defeat Germany, and that's why this is definitely direct involvement. It's a huge difference compared to A. So in the words of Trump over here, he would always say
it's millions and millions, millions and millions, millions and millions, and
contribution of millions and millions and millions and millions of soldiers. So indeed, really, millions of soldiers actually from the US actually went all over to Europe to fight. So let me just show you how it is later in the map. Okay, the next thing is collaboration with the allies in terms of strategy. So what is this about? This is basically about the planning, the strategies, how are they going to attack the Germans, which direction, logistics, in terms of a lot of planning and a lot of thinking about what to do, tactics. Okay, so these are what America actually provided its plans, shared its plans with the Soviet Union and especially with Britain. So I'm going to show you the map again to give you a visual illustration explanation of what these 2 points mean. So let's begin, stick around. So right now we're going to show you a visual illustration of the direct involvement of how the US actually defeated Germany. So the first one, as you can see, in indirect involvement is basically the transporting of arms and resources, okay, through cash and carry, and then after that the Lend-Lease program, and the third way is Arsenal of Democracy, where America's factory goes on full-scale production of weapons, okay, the commitment of weapons to supply them to Britain and France. Okay, so now that we have this part more or less understood already, now let's talk about the direct involvement. So let's go. I now have this magnet which represents the United States Army. The real soldiers are now involved. So here we go. So now I'm going to put them here, and now the United States Army are no longer just going to protect America. They are basically going to be sent. Okay, let me just change my direction. Okay, they're going to be sent from America into the ships together with the resources, as you can see. And so what happens next is basically both of them will travel to Britain. And once now you have an addition of not just resources, but you also have American soldiers, American lives committed to the war effort, which is the first point, contribution of vast amount of resources and millions of American soldiers coming to Britain to do what? Okay, which brings us to the next part, which is the collaboration of allied strategies, allied plans to attack Germany. Now, guess which country do you think they'll attack first in order to defeat Germany? Okay, if you look at the map, it should clearly show that it should not be Germany first, but rather France first. So as you can see, you now have a lot of soldiers, I should say millions and millions of soldiers, okay? And now they are going to invade France, to free France from German occupation. And this, I need to erase the date, okay, is 1944. And this event is known as D-Day, which you need to know. Okay, the Liberation Day of France from by the Allied forces, okay, where they liberate France, and France is no more under Nazi occupation. France is now free, okay, from Nazi occupation. And from here, the Americans actually came to France together with the British. So you can also say that the weapons and supplies also came to France. And then from here, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you think they're just going to twiddle their thumbs and just stay in France and eat baguette and croissant and what have you, drink French wine and all that things? No. So from here, so I'm going to take out all these arrows which show the attack that Germany did on France, and this time America and Britain would try to defeat Germany after they have liberated France. And that's why you have the contribution of resources and American soldiers, and also the planning that happened that caused this to happen. Okay, the collaboration of allied strategies, planning with Britain especially to liberate France, and then from here, which also resulted in the defeat of Germany, because from after France was liberated, Germany was basically losing and losing and losing. So this concludes the first part of the lesson on America's involvement in the defeat of Germany. Hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.